Hello, Professor Mons. This is Christian Hansen doing my 3 questions on the video for Zones Inc. Case A. The first question I will be addressing is, what strategic steps should Zones take to bring legal action against Trinity Incorporated or any other global partner that has usurped its profits? Should they forge such legal actions in an effort to maintain their reputation on the ground? Okay. Now, what I learned from the case study first is that sometimes companies can't get into certain countries based on taxes that they can't afford, or just they really can't get in the country because they don't have the stability to do it. I learned that there is a way around that. First, you can find a reseller. Now, this is something I didn't know before. A reseller is someone you sell your product to, and then they will then find somebody to sell that product to in that country. So it's pretty much like they're a middleman. However, sometimes a reseller can be hard to find because if they don't really trust that your product is going to sell, they don't want to buy it because then they're going to lose profit on that. Now, Brazil. Their taxes are pretty steep on the American government when it comes to bringing stuff in, and Trinity Incorporated happens to be located in Brazil. This happened to be a reseller that Zones Inc. thought they could trust, but in fact it was the exact opposite. Over 25 years, Trinity was pretty much embezzling money from Zones Incorporated. Now, how they were doing this, I have no idea, but as soon as Trinity Incorporated found a new CIO, he went back and checked, and he made some new program to find out, invoice something. Come to find out, he's like, man, this company's not generating revenue like they should, as based off the stuff I'm seeing. And then come to find out, the company was being very corrupt and stealing money from Zones Incorporated. Now, to the question, should Zones take legal actions? Of course, you got money stole from you. Why wouldn't you take legal action? There's a way of going about it though, and there's a wrong way. The first thing you would do would to be, obviously, not react out of anger. Clear your mind. Don't react out of anger. You're gonna do stupid stuff you wish you didn't do, and you're gonna regret things. Second, find a good business lawyer that is recognizable and has a pretty good past record of winning cases. The odds are he's going to tell you to do certain stuff that you need to do. He's probably going to tell you need evidence. You need to find invoices, receipts, anything that can help you prove they were stealing money from you. And if all goes well, you should win the case if they prove that they were stealing money. And then you're not only going to win the money that you got stole from you, you are also going to win money for civil engagement, which is just pretty much you're going to win money for them doing bad to you, pretty much. Now, on the ground, that is something that I don't think they would lose reputation for suing. I mean, you're doing what you should. You're getting the money you deserve. So I have no problem with they're not going to lose their reputation. Now, let me try. Oh my gosh. so sorry about that. I forgot to put my computer on charge. It's about to die. You can take 10 seconds off the video. I'll try to go over. Second question I'm going to address is, what knowledge of the economic freedom indices can be used to understand which country zones should and should not enter? Alright. It was my senior year in high school, actually. I took a class called macroeconomics, and he actually introduced us to the one of the indexes. It was called the index of economic freedom. Yeah, we had to use that for a project on a country, and I found it very interesting. Actually, they measure all the things to find out how economically free a country is. Now, the interesting thing is that every company should use this index. It is very insightful. It helps you learn what countries you should not do business with based on the economic freedom of that country. I looked at the countries that Zones Incorporated does business with, and I found it very interesting that two of them were very low on the economic freedom index. There's two indexes, by the way, that you can use. They each use different measures. I think one of them uses 5 and the other uses 4. But the economic freedom, pretty much, if you are high on the economic freedom, your country is better environment, better jobs, better employment. It's just overall a better way of life. Now, two of the countries that Zones Incorporated does business with, one being both Brazil and India, are pretty low on the economic freedom index, to where they're mostly unfree. Very interesting that Brazil, low economic freedom, which overall equals not a good way of life, as you can see Trinity Incorporated stole money from them. So I think that is very insightful to how the economic freedom index proves itself. You should always choose a country that you're not going to have a problem with them being unfree. Otherwise, the government is going to be more dictative on what happens in the business realm of that country, between America too. So obviously, any company needs to consider how to use the index of economic freedom, or the other, what's the other one called? The other one, the economic freedom index of the world, and they need to really use that to measure what country they want to do trade with, or have businesses in, or just anything in the business realm internationally. Now, back to the last question. As Zones explores new hardware and software solutions, how might the permissionless innovation versus precautionary principle debate created by Dr. Adam Thierer impact Zones' ability to support new B2B products by its providers? Okay, you happen to not have this on the case study you gave us, so I had to do some research online about this one. I'm going to first give you the definition of each one of them. The permissionless innovation method. Okay, this is the one that has triggered innovation and technology. You don't have to go through government regulations or requirements by the government to make a product, or better yet, enhance a product. You see this through mostly technological companies, especially the more innovative ones that are doing great things, such as people that are making drones, cell phone companies, hardware companies, and even car companies. Because of this, we obviously have more innovation, which means we are creating new technology and better yet, enhancing our way of life. You see examples of this such as drones, autopilot cars, Siri, which you have a phone talk to you now, and just many other things. You know, they're just creating is because the government is not giving them restrictions, so they are being able to use their mind and become more innovative. The other method is the precautionary principle, which is where the government has rules, regulations, and pretty much stipends you to a box that you have to stay within. People tend to think this is something we shouldn't have because obviously it will not trigger innovation and it will cause things not to be invented. What is it? The governments should have boundaries, but they should not make those boundaries to where they're too stiff. I think Zones Incorporated should use the permissionless innovation because they're obviously in the technology business, and to be successful in the technology business, you have to have innovation, which is what the permissionless innovation gives you. Personally, though, if I had a company, we are going to use the precautionary principle because I don't want to be making a product and sending it out to our consumers and then a hazard or something goes wrong with them. I'll give you an example of this. The Samsung explosion controversy. Samsung recently put a phone out and been getting a lot of negative feedback because it has been exploding. Yes, exploding. People are on the phone talking and it explodes in their ear. This is a health hazard. You should not be putting a product out that is going to cause harm to the American people or any people in general. And it's not just one time. This is multiple count times. But yeah, if I had a business, I'm going to be safe. I'm not going to hurt any of our people. The government's going to check our product. They're going to do rules, regulations, test after test after test. But if Zones wants to be more innovative and exceed their partners or their competitors, as I would say, they're going to have to be more innovative, and they just do the test and test it. That's all I say. You know, you can be innovative, create things that are not approved by the government, but yet it needs to be tested so it does not fail when it's out in the market. This is my Zones Inc. Case A for International Business, and I thank you for your time, Professor.